It's great to see so many of you here today as we observe our temple's May Shotsuki Hoyo, or monthly memorial service, and also the Gotan-E observance, which is the observance of the birth of Shinran Shonin, the founder of the Jodo Shinshu school of Buddhism. We will begin, we are pleased to have our supervising minister, Reverend Jundo Gregory Gibbs from Pasadena, to be with us today to be officiant. We will open with incense offering, fruit and floral offering by the high school class. Thank you. Reverend Gibbs will now read the Shotsuki names for the month of May. And after the reading of the names, he will chant the Shishinrai and the Hyobyakumon.
Yes, thank you, Nancy. Yes, and we are going to have the March Shotsuki list read now, if I may. I'll just be reading the names of the deceased.
Okay. And Sensei, I'm sorry, family members who would like to offer incense during the reading of the names are welcome to do so.
Thank you. Yeah, and anyone, if we call the name of someone who is close to you, friend, family, you're certainly be honored to come forward and offer incense. Reading the March Shotsuki Hoyo list for the Buddhist Temple of San Diego. Firstly, Tsugiyo Ishisaki, Tomiye Torimaru, Sadao Kinoshita, Senkichi Yanagihara, Iwakichi Okumura, Matsu Yamanishi, Sakuhichi Yano, Yonekichi Tsubakihara, Yonekichi Tsubakihara, Mizuno Nakano, Shina Shindo, Tokumatsu Shiosaki, Yoshigoro Mamiyama, Kura Hashimoto, Dennis Suyenaga, Sawa Yamanishi, Taiki Ikemi, Ichinosuke Kiyono, Tsune Hasayama, Hure Hirai, Shuji Kaneko, Zenkichi Iwashita, Yoshito Yamamoto, Akira Date, Fusamatsu Morimoto, Motono Oto, Matsu Higuchi, Shina Nishiue, Shimeno Nabeta, Shunzo Sakamoto, Buemon Ohara, Roy Yamada, Teru Kiyono, Kiyotaro Osaki. Yuku Hosaka. Masaaki Tanizaki. Hanano Matsui. Tetsu Tachiki. Masaru Yanagihara. Suna Torio. Haruhiko Otsuji. Sukeiichi Yamada. Grace Hosaka. Kimi Telada. Shiro Takahashi. Susumu Yagi. Zenpachi Kubota. Tsune Yamasaki. Hideo B. Watamura. Hisaji Taniguchi. Miyuki Takanashi. Thomas Yonekura. Haruki Koba. Mieko Holt. Masaru Niwata. Shoichi Nomura. Chisato Kuroye. Kiyo Kawasaki. Rosie Yamada. Fumie A. Martin. Masahito Iwanaga. Kyoko Hazel Baker. Michael S. Kawamoto. Misao Kawasaki. Mark Isao Kasubuchi. Ri Nemoto. Fred Nabeta. Sam Amano. Yoshiko Kawato. Susumu Kawato. Tarami Maruyama. Katie Tomoe Kraus. Shizuko Tsukamoto. Mary Haruko Yagura. Ben Shizuto Sekishiro. Bruce Ryo Moriyama. Gilbert Shuji Wakisaka. Tohoru Hidutsu Shimizu. Richard Iwao Ito. Ayako Otsuji. Emiko Ishisaki. Mary Sayoko Tomiyama. These are the people we know we have lost in this month, and we hope that those of you who lost one of these people, we hope you do have a sense you will see them again. There is a deep connection that goes beyond one lifetime. Thank you. Namo Amidabutsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Amidabutsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Amidabutsu.
Hi, thank you, Sensei. I realize that there might have been an error in the printing of the list, because it should be the May Shotsuki Hoyo list, and I know there are a number of family members here for the month of May.
We have the list for May?
I'm going to go see if we can go find it, and I don't know if someone can find it.
Well, we'll redo this. So all these people we care about and we're sorry they're gone, and we're going to read a list of another group of people we know we've missed in a little bit. And,
yes, Kimberly's going to check for us and try to get the list, and we apologize.
it's okay, we can proceed, and yeah, we'll come back to this. Sorry,
Okay, thank you, Sensei.
my honor. I'll enjoy reading the other list even more.
Okay. Okay. Reverend Gibbs will now chant the Shishin Rai and provide the intention of the service. And then will all of us join him in chanting the Sanbutsuge, which can be found in the service book on page 44.
Shishin kei Namo Shochu Hu Shishin Kei Namo Shochu Ho Shishin Kei Namo Shochu So. This morning, on this occasion of the year 2023 Gotan-E service, the members of the Buddhist Temple of San Diego, our friends and our guests, reverently repeat our reliance upon the three treasures of the truth. We rely upon the Buddha, we rely upon the Dharma, we rely upon the Sangha. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Nabutsu. Now the rest of the chanting, if you would please join me, we will chant San Butsuge. Busatsu Daimuryo Jukyo Tanbutsuge Kogen Gigi Ijin Mugoku Nyode Enmyo Muyo Tosha Nichigatmani Shuko Enyo Haishtonpe Yunyaku Jumoku Nyorai Yogen Chofe Murin Shogaku Daion Koru Jipo Kaimon Shojin Tammai Chie Itoku Muryo Fusho Keiru Jintai Zennen Shobuten Hokai shoujo ito ga kokeraku anon kobuten shinmyo seiga shinsho hotsugan no hi rikisho shoyoku jippo seison chie muge joryo shison shiga shingyo heiryo shinshi shoku dokuchu agyo shojin ninju fuke namandabu 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 Ganiya shikudoku byodo sei isai no monai shin onyo Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Sensei, Reverend Gibbs, I have the list.
Oh, good, perfect timing, yeah. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
So printing is smaller.
That's okay, I'll hold it closer to my face. So these are the people who, the list we read were important people who have passed ahead of us. This is the list of the important people who have passed ahead of us in the month of May. And so I hope that if one of these names is someone that was close to you, again, I hope that you have a feeling in some deep sense the connection's still alive and that connection will manifest in a new meeting, a meeting in other terms. Reading the May Shotsuki Hoyo list for the Buddhist Temple of San Diego. Firstly, Mary Koba, Nasuemon Ishizuka, Tsuneko Masumoto, Kumataro Kimura, Jirosuke Nishiue, Yasukichi Fujimoto, Gohei Tomiyama, Fujie Oya, Kisaemon Kato, Yoshimatsu Yagura, Richard A. Jima Jr., Osamu Amano, Moritaka Tsuneyoshi, Yoshi Morimoto, Asao Tanaka, Hiroshi Mayumi, Tamiko Mamiyama, Seiko Fujimoto, Shoichi Hamatake, Magotaro Adachi, Tsume Takashima, Reverend Gikan Nishinaga, Mitsuko Iguchi, Hatsuko Miyamoto, Shizue Saito, Kakue Yamada, Hisayo Fujimoto, Kuni Higuchi, Carl M. Ooka, Carol James, Hiroko Kitara, Hisashi Ozaki, Shizue Koba, Morizo Fujimoto, Kazu L. Scott, Momoyo Amano, Yoshio Koike, James Yamaguchi, Ichie Ochi, Agnes Masai Kishi, Harumi Hokanson, Mikazu Kaminaka, Paul Yomimasa Naito, Yukie Yagade, Roy Morinaka, Tamiko Iwashita, George Higuchi, Noboru Yamamoto, Sanae Gutzman, Matsue Ishino, Jane Akemi Obayashi, Katsumi Takashima, Donald Hamilton Estes, Misao Nakagawa Moriyama, Masako Falk, Horace Shigeto Koga, Tiffany Wadzinski, Phoebe Wadzinski, John Ernest Benson, Chonja Lee Haruko Bolek, George Masato Uda, George Masato Uda, Arlene Shizue Hirata, William Perkinson Jr., George Yada, Setsuko Yada, Jane Kozue Yagare, Peggy Fumiko Tsurudome, Kuniko Denton, Leora Chieko Hamada, Frederick Ichiro Tsuji, Steve Tomiyama, Moto Tsuneyoshi. And these, we believe, are the names of our May Shotsuki Hoyo list members. And again, I hope that we will all see one another again in a realm of light. I'm sorry for your loss. Namamitabutsu, Namandabutsu, Namandabutsu, Namandabutsu.
Thank you all. I did tell Reverend Gibbs that we could adjust as necessary, and he's been great about doing that, so apologize for our errors. Could everyone please rise for the reading of the recitation, The Golden Chain? It can be found on page 90 in your service book. Golden chain. I am a link in Amida's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong. I will be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amida's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namam Dabs, Namam Dabs, Namam Dabs. Thank you. You may be seated. We will now have incense offerings by representatives. Dharma School staff, Brevin Honda. Dharma School students, Kiana Koga. Sangha teens, Giuliana Cruz. Junior YBA, Ava Yamamoto. Thank you, Andrea Covarrubias. Adult Buddhist Association, Laura Yoshida. Buddhist Women's Association, Alice Aoyama. Taiko Chelsea Koga. Komon Joyce Teague. Buddhist Temple of San Diego, Luann Lee. Thank you so much. We will now have a Dharma message to the Dharma School students from Reverend Gibbs.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have help from Bill Teague here. And before I begin, we're going to read through a little book some of the young people have seen before called We're All Alike and We're All Different. There's more than one version. Apparently, this is the original version. I didn't know that. But let me also say this has relevance to the Buddha Dharma. All the schools of Buddhism are the same. We're all walking into the same light. Jodo-shu, Jodo-shinshu, Nichiren-shu, Zen, Tendai. We're all the same. We're all very different. The Tendai approach is very rigorous. The flavor of the Nichiren-shu approach is very different from our flavor. We're all different, and we're all the same, and we're all good. And that's the message. But let me read through the book. Specifically, this book specifically designed for the younger folks among us. We are all alike, and we are all different. We're all alike. We're all people. We're all different. We do not look the same. We have different color eyes. We have different color hair. Some of us have curly hair. Some of us have straight hair. Some of us wear glasses. Some of us like our hair, and some of us don't. I've wanted straight hair all my life. It's all the same. Come on. You always want what you don't have. We have different color skin. And this is at the earliest juncture of Buddhist tradition, this is discussed. The Buddha specifically said one is not noble because of the color of their skin. We all have different color skin. Some of us have darker skin. Some of us have lighter skin. What color are your hair, your skin, your eyes? We're all alike. We all have bodies. We're all different. Some of us are boys and some of us are girls. Some of you remember the book I read last time, and the anecdote I told you, a book about a person of mixed heritage. And when I read it to my 3-year-old son, he said, "Oh yeah, that's like you and Mommy. You're a boy and mommy's a girl. So hey, some of us are girls and some of us are boys. We're all different. Some of us are big and some of us are little. What does your body look like? We're all alike. We all have families. We're all different. Some of us live with moms. Some of us live with dads. Some of us live with moms and dads. Some of us live with 2 dads. Some of us live with 2 moms. Some of us live with grandmoms and granddads. Some of us live with brothers and sisters. We're all different. We're all the same. Some of us look like our moms and dads, and some of us look different from our moms and dads. We're all alike. We all live somewhere. We're all different. Some of us live in the city. Some of us live in the country. Some of us live in apartments. Some of us live in houses. Some of us live in trailers. Some of us live out of our cars. We're all different. Where do you live? We're all alike. We all eat. We're all different. We like different foods. What food do you like to eat? What don't you like to eat? I took Japanese in Japan, and half the class was German, and half was very mixed, Italian, Irish, American. And it's something they always ask you in Japan, what Japanese foods do you like and not like? And you know, the Germans hated konjaku. They just despised it. And it seems like it's almost tasteless. I guess it was the texture, but that's the thing. Some people, those people eat raw potatoes. Who are they to put down konjaku? But we all like some foods and don't like others. We are all alike. We all like to play. Everybody plays at something. We're all different. Some of us like to pretend. Some of us like to climb. Some of us like to read. Some of us like to play ball. What do you like to do? This is the last page. I'll say only a couple words after I read the last page. We're all alike and we're all different. So this is the truth, and this isn't just for children, and it's important to know that persons of all races, ethnicities, religious backgrounds are valuable. It's also important to know that all living things are worthy. That is our message for the Dharma School today, and we will excuse the Dharma School children, and then have this real long talk for the adults. So some of you might want to kind of scoot down and look like you're a child and walk out. But I'll be back. Namo Itabutsu, Namo Dabutsu, Namo Midabutsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Dabutsu, Namo.
Thank you, Sensei, for your message on we are all alike and we are all different. And I just want to let you know that I don't like konjaku either. Right? Who likes konjaku? Who doesn't like konjaku? Oh,
There's something
okay.
about German culture. They all hated it. All the German students just hated it.
I am part German here. So, okay. Would everyone please rise for the Gatha Shinran Sama? It can be found on page 141 in your service book. And it will be in Japanese, but I wanted to let you know that there's a wonderful translation of this Gatha that can be found on 142.
Shinran Sama Nikoyakani Watashi no tonari ni irasharu Kirameku yozora Hoshi no kage Arashi ni kiete mo kakurete mo Namo Amida Butsu Tona Eba Shinran Sama Tomo Shibio Watashi no yukute ni kazasareru Kono yo no tabi no akekure ni Subishi no chi o nageku toki Namo Amida Butsu Tona Eba Shinran Sama Yorisote Watashi no te otori ayumareru
Thank you. Please remain standing. We will recite the Jodo Shinshu Creed. It's an insert in your service book. I put my trust in the vow of Amida Buddha. Reciting Namo Amida Butsu, let us live to the utmost with strength and joy. I look to the light of Amida Buddha, constantly reflecting upon myself. Let us strive to live a life of gratitude. I shall follow the teaching of Amida Buddha. Awakening to the right path, let us share the true Dharma with others. I rejoice in the compassion of Amida Buddha. Mutually respecting and aiding each other, let us endeavor to work for the good of all. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you. Please be seated. At this time, we'll have an appreciation from our Temple Board President, Luann Lee.
Good morning, everyone. So nice to see all of you here today as we celebrate Gotan-E, Shinran Shonin's birthday. Although it's a happy occasion for Gotan-E, I would like to honor the people that have passed before us and give the families our sincere condolences as we observe the Shotsuki Hoyo for this month of May, and also March. On behalf of the Buddhist Temple of San Diego, we want to thank Reverend Gibbs, our supervising minister, for officiating today's service and for being our guest speaker. We enjoyed your Dharma School message, and we look forward to hearing the Gotan-E message soon. Thank you to Bill Teague, our CMA Certified Minister Assistant, for assisting and for his hard work, not only for today, but all year long, and especially these past few weeks when all the other MAs, as you notice, are in Japan. His leadership is appreciated. Thank you to Nancy Martinez for chairing today's service and for also helping with the many operational and financial duties that were put upon her these past few weeks. We thank all of you that volunteered to fill in while many of us attended the proclamation service on May 10th in Kyoto. And it was just a great experience. You'll hear more about it soon. We also give thanks to Ann Ong for providing the music, our tech team, Bill T, Ken Muraka, and Brevin Honda for making sure the service is available to view from home, and to Brevin Honda for ringing the concho. We want to give deep gratitude and appreciation to the Sangha, you, for making sure that for all your donations and all your support, it is appreciated. Now I'm going to put my bizarre chair hat on, and with Mildred Kawasaki, she's in the back, we are looking for volunteers for our biggest fundraiser, which will be happening on June 4th, Sunday. So if you can help, please let us know. And in closing, I'm glad Reverend Gibbs is still here. We want to give Reverend Gibbs a small gift on behalf of the temple. His birthday was on April 29th.
29th.
Yeah, so we wish him happy birthday. And for thanking him for supervising us for almost 2 years in September. We want to give him, since he wears many hats like many of us do, we want to present him with one.
Be pleased to.
He wants to open it. We wish it was a better situation, but it will be, right? It will be. The Padres will
It's kind of funny because when I watch the Dodgers play the Padres, I just want one of them to win.
Okay.
I like the Padres.
Okay. He'll wear it when he's here, maybe. I don't know.
My father was both the Dodgers and a Giants fan, which he never told me until he was dying.
Oh.
Because in Fresno, everybody's a Giants fan.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, thank you. Thank you, Reverend Gibbs.
Thank you, Luann. I see that we do have some guests with us today. Would any of our guests like to stand if you're here for the first time or if you're visiting after a long time? I would like to recognize that Reverend and Mrs. Masuda have joined us today. So thank you so much for coming. Do we have any other guests? Now, everyone's welcome, and we'll be having hospitality after the service, so please join us. At this time, are there any announcements? We did have some in the back of the program.
It's annoying me. I wanted to remind you that the Obonigan shop is going to be open and for the bazaar, and we're going to have the lovely Sangha Hall to put all of our 3 years worth of stuff we haven't looked at for 3 years. And I do need some help setting it up. I don't need a lot of help, but just some. Today, after you receive your refreshments downstairs, if you could help us move the boxes over to the Sangha Hall, that's the main part of it. And then the rest of the week and into some of next week, we'll be opening up the boxes, seeing what the heck is in there, and trying to clean and price them for sale during the bazaar. Fabulous things that people have donated to us. Most of them are Asian, Japanese. It's a treasure trove, and my husband is right there, and I'm thinking, how many things have I bought from a born-again shop myself and is peopling our house now? But if you've never been there, it's just a lot of fun. But we do need some help in setting it up. If you can stick around a little bit this afternoon, would be great. And I have a schedule of the rest of the hours that we'll be over there moving stuff around and going ooh and ah over everything. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you, Joyce. And Joyce expects that just to move stuff over, if we have enough folks, we're talking about 15 minutes or so. So it's not a big commitment, but more hands, of course, things go more quickly. I do have I have one announcement and then one apology. The announcement is happy, and that's that after the service, we'll have flowers downstairs from the altar that you can take home with you. Katie Sumida, our minister's assistant, has also brought some things from her garden that you can use to make your flower arrangements, augment them. And we'll also be sharing the manju, which is up on the altar right now. Most of you know, having made the offering to the Buddha, it's okay for us to enjoy those things as well. So please take advantage at hospitality. The apology is that I was Reverend Gibbs' advance man. I was supposed to have the May Shotsuki Hoyo. I even showed him an updated list last night when we met for dinner, and somehow we gave him the March list. So I really apologize. But what a graceful accommodation he made, and maybe that's one of the teachings he gave us today, was to go ahead and be so gracious about it. However, the updated list had two people who names were not read, and I apologize for that. One was Mary Elizabeth Ewing, I believe, and the other, some of you know, Dharma Friend. She used to be more common here, and then in failing health, we didn't see her, but Jeanette Dutton passed away earlier this month. So if you know those people, please feel free to offer incense following the service. Again, my apologies. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. To add on to the Imperial Valley Cemetery visitations in your program, today's the last day to sign up if you want to experience going out to the Imperial Valley on Saturday. We're going to visit the Calexico, El Centro, and Brawley cemeteries. That will include going to lunch somewhere as well. And then we'll also visit the Pioneers Museum in Imperial. Within the museum, there is a section dedicated to Japanese community in the valley. We'll meet here at the temple at 7 o'clock, where we'll carpool out to the Imperial Valley, and then we'll arrive no later back to the temple around 5 o'clock. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Dharma School students are going to be excused to their activity if they would like to come up and offer incense before going downstairs to room 6, right? 6 and 7. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Reverend Gibbs will now lead us in the chanting of the Vandana and Tisarana. This can be found on page 96 in the service book.
Samasa Bhagavato Arahato Samasa Buddhasa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham Sarnam Gacchami, Dhammam Sarnam Gacchami, Sangham Sarnam Gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Kie Butsu, Namo Kie Ho, Namo Kie So. Namo Mita Butsu, Namo Da Butsu, Namo Mida Butsu, Namo Da Butsu, Namo Da Butsu, Namo Da Butsu, Namo Mita Butsu.
Thank you. So I'm pleased to reintroduce Reverend Gibbs, who will be providing the Gotan-E service message for today. Reverend Gibbs has been an ordained minister since 1993. Reverend Gibbs has served as the resident minister at Nishi Honganji, or Nishi Betsuin in Los Angeles, the Oregon Buddhist Temple in Portland, and is currently assigned to the Buddhist Temple of Pasadena. He supervises not only San Diego, but he also supervises Arizona Buddhist Temple. So when Luann says that Sensei wears many hats, she's not joking. So with that, Reverend Gibbs.
Thank you. Well, again, good morning, and thank you for attending this service. I'm pleased to see so many of you, including some longtime friends. And if you did lose someone in May, I'm very sorry for your loss. I think of everybody I've lost. You know, I talk to my mother every day. She doesn't talk back yet, but I do. I talk to everybody that I've lost. I'm sorry if you had a loss in May. Now, this is our Gotan-E service, which is a very up-tempo service, and we are here on the exact 850th birthday of Shinran Shonin. Shonin was born on May 21st, 1173. So exactly 850 years. Quite remarkable. There's a chance people won't remember me in 850 years. There's a chance people won't remember me in 850 days after I pass, you know. But here we are all this time later, and we still remember this insightful Buddhist teacher. And our main theme, I won't talk at excessive length, but I will talk for a bit about Shinran's life, about our denominational founder's life. I'll mostly mention a few, the story we always tell about when he was 9, and then I'll mention a later event, but his going to Rokokudo at 29. So as you probably know, Shinran was born in 1173. He passed in 1263. And you know, our members often go up to the Tendai Center in Honzan, and it had so many people say, "Oh, there's all these portraits of all these great teachers, and I know one of them is Shinran. Which one is Shinran?" It's really easy to tell. It's really easy to tell, and this is something worth remembering. If you look at Shinran, this portrait, you're pretty far away, but you've seen Shinran's portrait before. Every time he had his portrait taken, it was with a white scarf. That white scarf was an award for excellence in doctrinal studies in the Tendai tradition. So this will be relevant to some things I'll say later. But the big thing is, if you ever at like the Tendai complex in Mount Hiei or somewhere, there's a bunch of pictures of famous Buddhist teachers, and somebody says, "Which one's your founder?" The guy with the scarf. And the fact that he was awarded this special award for doctrinal studies does kind of demystify some of the things that have been said about Shinran. He was a scholar, and he was there. He went up to Mount Hiei when he was 9. It's often said that his parents died, which isn't true. His mother died. He went with his brother and his father to Mount Hiei. That's the last thing we hear of the father. We don't know what happened after that. We think he entered the monastic complex along with his 2 sons. But that's the last word that we have, a historical record. But Shinran's mother died. They were aristocrats. And there's only one Buddhist teacher from Japan in the history of Japan who wasn't an aristocrat. That was Nichiren. Shinran was an aristocrat, and that would explain the next little story. You know the story. 9 years old, his mother dies. He goes up to Mount Hiei. It's a long walk. Those of us who've been both places, it's a long walk. And from Hinotanjoin up to the Tendai Center on Mount Hiei. And when he gets there, they show him to his cell. And being an aristocrat, he was unhappy that he thought they're going to ordain him as soon as he got there, and they didn't. And this made him unhappy. And so he wrote a poem the way an aristocrat will, the way a highly educated person will. I can't translate the poem because I'm not an aristocrat and I'm not highly educated. But the thrust of Shinran's poem that he wrote at 9 years of age was, those who await fulfillment tomorrow have forgotten that there could be a deadly storm during the night. So he then had someone, right, someone does this for him, this 9-year-old, takes the letter to the chief abbot of this huge complex, Jian. This is how we know he's an aristocrat. Only if he was somebody very important would they do this. The chief abbot, Jian, reads the letter and says, okay, let's do it right now then. And it's a lot of trouble. There's only one tradition that is 100% followed in all schools of Buddhism, and that is that to be ordained, you need 3 officiants and 3 observers. And so you got to get, I mean, it's 9 o'clock at night or something. He's got to get these 6 monks up out of bed and put all the implements up there. But they did that, which indicates Shinran was somebody special when he started, when he first went to the monastic complex on Mount Hiei. Now, as you know, he at this monastic complex, he studied for 20 years before leaving. He studied Buddhist philosophy, meditation, ritual practice, calligraphy, painting, sculpture. There are sculptures attributed to Shinran. I don't think they're reliable attributions, but he would have made statues. It's just I think we'd know if one of them survived. He painted paintings. He studied philosophy. As I said, he was an expert in philosophy, which is why he's the guy with the scarf. He studied meditation. Now, these things are important. To some extent, we all need to have philosophy. We really do. You have to have a view of things. It may be very simple. It may be when the Buddha calls my name, it's the Buddha calling me. That's everything, if you can feel that. But we all have philosophy. Meditation really just means coming to composure. Your mind, body, and emotional life come to some degree of composure. Ritual practice, he became expert in ritual practice, which creates a temporary environment that's very special, you know. We all learn ritual. I remember to be ordained, I had to chant the Dharma Jukyo Saho. And I remember that as I finished chanting it, the guy testing me said, that was pretty good. And my immediate thought was, yeah, you know, I'm already forgetting it, and I will never do it again in my life. So, you know, for us, why all that complicated stuff? But Shinran learned it, and no doubt he was good at it as well. This ritual practice helps you to create an environment of sanctity, of preciousness, of value, and we hope to open that out to include others. Shinran continued those studies, philosophy, art, ritual, meditation, for 20 years, and after 20 years, he left the Mount Hiei complex and went to Rokakudo in the middle of Kyoto for a 100-day meditative retreat. And on the 95th day, he had kind of a remarkable experience. We don't have that experience by his own hand, but the thrust of the version we get from his students is that after 95 days of concentrating on this statue, this is like putting in a complex program in your computer and suddenly the screen changes, you know. After 95 days of meditating in front of the statue of Kannon, the Bodhisattva of compassion, the statue in his mind's eye came alive and said to him, if you cannot live the monastic life, I will become a most spiritual woman, and I will marry you, and I will care for you. And when your time in this realm comes to an end, I will guide you to Amida Buddha's pure land. Now, this kind of thing might happen to you all the time, but Shinran was surprised. And he immediately, that's it. He was waiting for this message, and he got it, and he left and went to study with Honin. That was age 29, and that was the beginning of this broad-based egalitarian movement, Shinran's participation in it, with Honin. Egalitarian, broad-based, simple, direct. And you know, it was 26 years ago. It's often said that Shinran had left the monastic complex because he had some kind of failure. There's no evidence of that. And there is evidence of his success, the white scarf. And in my opinion, I was at a conference in Calgary, Canada 26 years ago, and Mark Uno and I both independently read papers that we'd written without knowing, saying this was a successful meditative retreat. Shinran did not fail, he succeeded. And this is my view and Mark Uno's view, and also the view of several other people I haven't met yet. But you're hearing it from me, so you're going to hear my view. And Shinran looked for an answer, and he got it. And the answer was, who failed? Tendai Buddhism failed. Shinran didn't fail. He was looking for a way to lead everyone into the light. And he learned a way to lead people into the light. Meditation, art, ritual, 20 years of study, 40 years of study. That works for a small number of very special people. It does. Shinran wanted to see a path for everyone. How do we get everyone into the light? Not by having them meditate for 20 years, not by turning them into ritual experts or meditative experts. Shinran studied with Honen. He was sent into exile, which is another indication of his status, that about half a dozen of Honen's students were disciplined, exiled or executed, two executed. I always used to go to that 3rd Street Bridge, and kind of that's where the two monks were beheaded. And I always kind of stand there, and it's always surprising to me that there's no, oh, thanks, Bill. There's no monument there that I noticed, but the fact, Honen had hundreds of students. The fact that Shinran was one of the half dozen that was punished shows that he was a major guy. Any major dude will tell you. Now Shinran, being exiled, was sent to Echigo. There's two views of what happened here, and I think the dominant view now is that Shinran had known Eshini as one of Honen's students in Kyoto. Because when he's sent into exile in Niigata, which was cold and a cold, barren place, this aristocrat again, this guy's quite a high-level aristocrat, and they put him on a boat, and they come to Niigata, and they give him a bag of rice and say, here you are. It's over for this dude if he's got to plant this rice, right? He's not going to live long enough to eat that rice. Well, whether he met Eshini there, which seems unlikely, or whether he knew her through the Honen in Kyoto, his marriage to Eshini saved his life and created our tradition. He would have just died. He didn't have any other means of support than Eshini and her family. So he stayed there. They had children, you know, and they had, I think, 2 children before he was pardoned. So the government says, you're not a monk anymore. So, okay. You know what happened to a lot of Catholic priests when they were defrocked in Europe, if they were famous people? They married an aristocrat. Same thing that Shinran did. You're a priest, what can you do? You can chant and talk. Well, maybe I can find a woman that has a family with some money, and that worked. But then suddenly, because of the political pressure, not because they changed their mind, the government in Japan pardoned Shinran. So here's the good news, you are a monk now. Well, wait a minute, I got a wife and 2 kids. So that's when he started calling himself neither monk nor layman, and he continued in that status as a minister, a status that Honen had already created, but for Shinran that was the only status, a non-monastic Buddhist teacher. That's all we have in Jodo Shinshu. Shinran then went to Kanto. We're not sure why, probably because Eshini had property there, but we don't really know. But he apparently went with this group of migrant farm workers that he was teaching, went to the farming area near Tokyo. He stayed there for 20 years. And then at the age of 60, he returned to Kyoto. Now, when Shinran returned to Kyoto at the age of 60 to basically double-check his footnoting on his notations, he wrote the Kyogo Shinsho off the top of his head. All this stuff, you know. And so then he'd go to one temple or another and say, oh, let's see, was it an or the? You know, real precise correction of his writing. But when he went there at the age of 60, he probably figured he had a couple, 3 years left, you know. He had 30 years left. I don't think he had any idea that he was going to have 30 years in Kyoto, but he did. And he taught for 30 years, and he wrote for 30 years. And he wrote in Chinese for another 20 years, and then started writing in Japanese when he was in his mid-80s. Everything by Shinran's hand was in Chinese until he was about 83, I think, and he started writing in Japanese because it would be more accessible. Someone else could read it. He wrote about half a dozen books when he was in his 80s. As you know, he passed away at the age of 91. He was surrounded, his daughter was at his bedside. You all know that he said, he was asked by his brother, I think, what should we do when you die? And I think what that meant was, do we do after-death rituals? Do we do funerals? Do we do 49-day services? And believe me, we didn't until the 19th century. But that's probably what the question was. What should we do when you die? And Shinran's answer was, throw my body into the Kamo River. I have eaten many a fish in my life and use my body as food for the fishes in the Kamogawa. Now, of course, they didn't do that. His brother and his daughter did not do that. But I think that was a sincere feeling that we're all one. We're all the same and we're all different. The fish count too. The fish are important too. If you're not using this anymore, give it to the fish. His tradition is our tradition. This is a tradition where all of us can walk into the light rather easily without great complexities. But I recommend studying the Dharma as best you can. When I moved to Portland, there was one of these mommy and me classes, they used to call them. And so my wife and my 3-year-old went to them, and it was at a community center, and they would go to the mommy and me class, and I'd go to the weight room. But there was a woman athlete who used to be there at the same time. And so I'd go to the weight room while my wife and kids are having fun, you know. And I come over to the weight machine, and I go, I take the pin and move it way up. Because I can't lift the same weight. She's an athlete. You know, I cannot lift the same weight as an athlete. But my point is, she can't lift the weight I do. After I move it down, if she comes back to the machine, it's like, what? She has to move the pin down. You got to move the pin down for your doctrinal studies right to the point where it touches you. You have to study the Dharma as carefully as you need to. And that may be when the Buddha calls my name, when I call the Buddha's name, it's the Buddha calling me. Or it may be that reality such as it truly is spontaneously permeates our delusion and transforms it. It may be complex, it may be simple. It doesn't matter as long as you are putting yourself there. What is this teaching to me? And the teaching to you is the light is shining on all of us. There is no permanent negative destiny for anyone. We spin until we wake up. We spin in this world of cause and effect, and some of that spinning is actually kind of fun, although most of it isn't. But some of the spinning is kind of fun. You spin until you wake up to Buddhahood. Nobody goes to hell permanently. Nobody suffers permanently. The upside is very up, but it's important. It can make a big difference whether someone turns into the light now or doesn't. It can be many years of suffering if we don't look to the Dharma. And the Dharma is indeed right in front of us now. Namo Amida Butsu is the Buddha calling us. Namo Amida Butsu is the expression of a commitment to the well-being of all living things. And this commitment is real. This commitment moves through our tradition. This commitment to the well-being of every living thing, Namo Amida Butsu, can transform not just our lives, but the lives of others as well. This is the message I wanted to share with you here on Gotan-E. As it turns out, the exact 850th anniversary of Shinran Shonin's birthday. Happy birthday to Shinran. Happy birthday to all of us. You say it's your birthday, it's my birthday too. It's Shinran's birthday, it's your birthday too. I will close the Dharma message portion of our service by saying the Nembutsu a few times. Those of a mood to, please join with me. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Namo Amida Butsu, 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 Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Gibbs, for your message on Gotan-E. We have a quick announcement.
In celebration of Shinran's birthday, we have to have some sweets. So the BWA women handmade some daifuku, which we'll be handing out at the back of the temple as you exit. So please enjoy. Shinran would be very happy. I'm sure he would have loved it. So thank you.
Could everyone please rise for the Gatha Ondok-san? This Ondok-san 2, it's on page 128. The words are by Shinran. Please be seated. Okay. We'll have a closing meditation. Listen. Listen to the voice of the Dharma. Listen to the birds singing in the morning, the wind sighing in the boughs overhead, and the roar of the waves on the beach. The Dharma speaks to us through the sounds of the world, forcefully and eloquently and beautifully. It speaks of the unending change around us, the immutable truth of interdependence, and the peace in nature. Do we have the ears to hear and listen? Listen to the Nembutsu and the Hondo. Listen to the noble silence of the Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Thank you. Again, appreciation to all of you for attending today's service, to Reverend Gibbs to join us on this Shotsuki Hoyo and Gotan-E service observance, and to our tech team and all of you. So thank you, Ann Ong, for playing the organ today. Okay. Everyone's invited to offer incense and to join us downstairs for hospitality.